Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at the Shadow Dragonite Empoleon core, a core that is already very strong in the Open Great League, and in the Remix Cup we're still able to use it. And I would really recommend you to try out the Dragonite in the lead here instead of something like the Empoleon and go for a double Dragonite, which I think I had in my top team video. I would rather go ahead and go for the Shadow Dragonite in the lead, because Dragonite in the lead with 2 shields is kinda nearly always able to realign yourself, unless you're going to have a hard counter like we had a Charm user here, for example. But the cool thing is, there are so many fairy types in the meta right now, especially the Carbink, that you can just go ahead and go for some farm down when they swap into you with the Empoleon. Empoleon was so strong as something as a closer here, because there were so many Carbink save swaps. For whatever reason, they decided Carbink is a good save swap in this meta, but it's not really, and we see actually a Carbink here as well. And we also have a Persiaker on our team. Persiaker also runs a little bit of an interesting moveset here, not running Foul Play, we are running the Trailblaze. Why is that so? Because it's going to be our main save swap, and we're going to have a lead that's going to hard counter most of the Water type Pokemon in Dragonite here, and we're going to have, of course, great coverage against Water type Pokemon with our Steel type that's supposed to get it out of the way. So this team is something that I played for, I think, 6 or 7 sets so far for the Go Battle Day, and honestly, it was a very solid team to use. I didn't always pay too much attention to the battles, to be fair. But it still was a very good team to try out for sure. And honestly, Persiaker kinda was something that I didn't expect to be that great, but was a very solid Pokemon to use. Especially like the coverage can be really helpful, but sometimes I have to say that pacing could have been a little bit better. Like, I feel like 50 energy or whatever it is, I think it's 50 energy for Trailblaze is sometimes a little bit too much for Persiaker, but quite a lot of matchups, for example, here against the opponent's Cresselia are going to be great. There are so many Cresselias around that Persiaker really has some play against them. And the cool thing as well is you can go for one Trailblaze, go for one shield, and just farm them down and end up with like a boosted Persiaker with like around half of the HP and still like 100 energy, which is kind of wild. So this Pokemon is quite decent, and again, another Carbink and Empoleon is going to enjoy that one quite a bit. Next opponent, Giratina in lead. A lovely lead for us, so let's see what they're going to swap into. Look at this again, like Carbink is literally everywhere, and this team is completely destroying Carbink, which is just so much fun to play. We're gonna see here, we can just let this move go through, farm them all the way down, and we're always going to end up with like way past 100 energy on our Empoleon, but we don't want to throw any energy here. We can just go it out of this matchup quite easily and just go for some charge moves against whatever wants to come in. Of course, it's going to be the Giratina. We should be able to most likely force a shield here, or maybe even get the knockout. Let's find out. We can go for another drill pack. The next drill pack is going to be already loaded as well. And so, as you're gonna see, we can actually keep the energy and swap out into our Dragonite just to get completely walled by a Fairy type Pokemon. Maybe not the smartest idea here, but honestly, because we already got them so low, Persiaker having Shadow Claw, I'm not really too worried about it. And as I can go into my Empoleon, just go for the neutral Hydro Cannon, we're gonna get the final shit from the opponent. Now it's going to be a Persiaker with 2 shields against a Fairy type and a Dragon and Ghost type, where we're both going to be great against. We're going to resist any damage that the Ninetales wants to go against us. I think there's actually not a single move the Ninetales learns that's going to be neutral against us. I think Feint Attack as a fast move would be neutral, but I don't think anybody is going to use it. So, easy win. Let's move on to the next opponent. We're going to have here the Serperior in the lead. It's going to be a lovely lead for us, but they swap out into the Dewgong and make a crucial mistake here. Against Dewgong, it's most likely better for you to just go ahead and go into your Persiaker. Persiaker having 2 charge moves that are going to be super effective against the Dewgong is quite nice, but also Persiaker kind of sometimes misses a little bit of bulk. I really wish that there would be like some kind of steel type that is decent in the meta for the steel typing itself, and like for steel type moves. I guess Empoleon has the steel type fast move or Steel Wing, but I feel like there is kind of some potential for steel types to get buffed in the future. Like Iron Head is kind of the best, like mostly available charge move for the steel types, not really a great charge move at all. So hopefully it's going to be better in the future for steel types. But as you're gonna see here, close combat as coverage move is still kinda nice, as you're gonna get completely walled from a Carbink. I decided to go straight for a charge move here because I don't want them to get too much energy against me here, and that's going to be a very tough matchup for me to still come back from. But as you can see, like having a double steel backline in the current meta seems to be a great way of dealing with the plague back of all those carbinks here. We're going to use a shield actually against the Moonblast because we kind of have to keep our health kind of high here because otherwise they can just farm us down. We get the guaranteed buff here of Trailblaze, and now it's down to if we can win against that Superior. I go straight for the Trailblaze, just trying to boost my fast move pressure. As you're gonna see here, Shadow Claw is chunking away quite a bit. Can we actually still knock them out? Is this going to be enough to knock them out? I'm not too sure if this one fast move that we snuck in here is going to be enough, but it is, and we just barely going to be able to win this game. Next opponent, we're going to have here the Empoleon in the lead. This is most likely one of the worst possible leads, and here we're going to see the matchup against the Annihilape coming in now. That's actually kind of a decent matchup for us. We can go for the Trailblaze, which is going to boost our attack and also going to get the shield from the opponent while it's going to be a CMP tie. And this is going to be kind of great for us as they can go for the Night Slash. We can get some more damage onto them, but what we can do now is we can go for the full farm run against the Annihilape, get up some energy, and go for super power later on against the opponent's Empoleon. And as you can see here, we can go for the full farm run. We're going to get the energy. We have to hope they're going to go into the Empoleon, but they decide to go ahead and go into the Empoleon. That's great for us. So we see that they actually get to the charge move quite early, which I did not expect, but we can just go for the back-to-back superpower, but they swap out into a Superior. And now I'm not too sure if we can still deal with that. We kind of misplay this quite a bit, I guess. I'm going to go for another charge move, which maybe was also not ideal, but I'm going to try to catch now the Aerial Ace onto our own Empoleon, which works out quite well. But it's not going to be over yet. So, Aerial Ace is going to be resisted, but they're still going to be able to go for another charge move most likely, but we actually outspeed them and win the CMP tie, which is crucial for us, as this is going to allow us to knock them out. They're forced to go for a charge move against us here with their own Empoleon, but I'm a little bit scared at this point, as the opponent is going to have a little bit more HP than we have, and they might be able to farm me down after this Hydro Cannon. And so it's going to be a very close matchup. We can go for a Hydro Cannon as well. They have a little bit more health than we have. Can we still reach a Hydro Cannon time? We can, but they have to throw as well. And with this, there should be energy dry. We can go into our Dragonite, farm them down, and it's going to be a very easy game. Next opponent, Venusaur in the lead. A great lead for us, but let's see if we can screw this up here still. We're gonna see the Gligar swapping in. Gligar might be one of the more trickier Pokemon to deal with, especially the non-Shadow variant actually. Because the Shadow variant takes quite a lot of damage from all our fast move pressure here. We're going to have Shadow Dragon Breath, we're going to have the Shadow Claw from the Berserker, and we have Steel Wing. All fast moves that have quite a lot of pressure, which is quite nice for this team, I have to say, but it's still not really ideal. I try to catch a move here on my Empoleon. As you saw, it does not work out quite well, but as I can see as well, we can just go for the charge move, get the final shield from the opponent, and let's see what we can do here. Next, they're gonna go for the dig, most likely knocking us out. It actually doesn't, and this might be even worse for me, because I would have enjoyed quite a lot of farm there with the Dragonite as well, but it is what it is. We can get a simultaneous KO there, and they're going to have a Mandibuzz in the back, and Mandibuzz is maybe a little bit of a trickier Pokemon for us to deal with as well, as our fast move is going to be resisted here with Shadow Claw. It's kind of neutral matchup for the Empoleon and also for the Dragonite, so yeah, we don't really have a clear answer against this Pokemon. We can swap out with a little bit of energy still stored, and we can go for one Superpower. This is going to be enough to knock them out. Superpower does a little bit more than Dragon Claw. They survive by a 1 HP, and this is going to be really bad for us, because like this, they can go for the Dark Pulse, knock me out, and I think otherwise I would have been fine here winning this game, but because they survived with 1 HP, they're going to win this one. Another very tricky matchup for this team is going to be the Magnazone lead. And again, this is actually the worst variant for us, because the Shadow variant is a little bit easier for us to deal with, because they're usually going to go against the Dragonite for the bait of Mirror Shot, because it's going to be enough. And so you can basically try to catch that Mirror Shot on your Berserker, plus they're going to take more damage from our fast move pressure that we have with this team. You're going to get out the Gligar. Gligar is going to be forced to go for a dig here, but we're going to be in a very tough spot, as I decided to use a shield here actually, because I can get them kind of low, which might be kind of beneficial for us, because we would need to use a shield with our other Pokemon anyway. We're going to be able to go for another Trailblaze, and they can still knock me out with another dig here before we can reach another charge move. But at this point, we can at least get some extra energy with my Dragonite. Dragonite is going to go a little bit low here anyway, but we can go for a Dragon Claw against the opponent. We are forced to try to catch maybe a Mirror Shot onto our Empoleon, but as you're gonna see here, we are not going to be able to do so, as I swap out into a Mantine. We still maybe have a chance here though. I'm not too sure who's going to be able to win this matchup. Like, our fast move is doing a little bit more damage than their fast move. We have Drill Peck, which I think is better than Aerial Ace in total as well, but it's not going to be like crazy difference there. But as you can see, they're going to be below half health, and maybe I'm going to be able to win this matchup. But it's going to be a very, very close one. We see here the opponent going for another aerial ace that is going to be able to get us quite low. And I think with the fast move pressure that they're going to apply here, this might be enough to knock us out. And now we just have to hope that somehow our Dragonite can still win this game. They swap out immediately, but is a Dragonclaw now enough? They're non-shadow, it's going to be resisted, they are still in yellow health. It is going to be enough, and we can actually still win the game. This must have been like kind of a range where it was just like by 1 HP or whatever, where we were able to knock out the opponent. But as you can see here, next opponent, we're going to have the Charizard coming in against us. I tried to catch a Dragonclaw. Didn't work out, it is fine. Blast Burn is coming through here. We can go for the Hydro Cannon here as well, which will force either a shield or the knockout. I'm fine with both. We're gonna get the knockout, and so we got rid of one of the hardest answers to our Berserker as well. In comes the Quagsire, and Quagsire is not going to enjoy our Hydro Cannon, so we're going to be in a very decent spot here. But sadly, they're gonna get a ton of energy. And the usual moveset for this Pokemon is that they're running Awkward Tail plus the Stone Edge. So for our Berserker, which is running the Grass-type coverage move of Trailblaze, we're going to still have a decent spot here as we can swap out, we can take the move. It's not going to be a Mud Bomb if they already revealed the Awkward Tail, and so we can take most likely 2 of them even. And we see them swapping out into a Gligar. This is going to be a little bit of a tough one, but if we're gonna get out of the matchup later on with my Dragonite, with a Charge move stored, we should be kind of decent. I think they're forced to go for they're actually going to go for an Aerial Ace. It's actually going to be enough already because we're kind of, not really that bulky on the Berserker. But we can use a shield here against the opponent's Gligar. And if one superpower is enough to knock out the opponent's Quagsire, we should be fine here. Again, the superpower does a little bit more damage compared to the Dragonclaw. As you're going to see, it's going to be enough and we can win this game. Second to last battle here for today, we're going to have the Ferrothorn in the lead, which is going to be a Pokemon that can be quite awkward to deal with. I guess like our Sazop is kind of fine for it, like all Pokemon are kind of fine, but we can just superpower them immediately and they just decide to forget, that shields exist. I don't know why they just let the move go through, like there's no reason for them to play that risky there, but it is what it is. We can go for a close combat against the Gligar just because I want to go for the first move I get to, and as you can see, close combat still does chunk quite a bit. They're forced to go for the dig, and we can now go back actually into our Dragonite. Most likely, we're actually going to go into the Empoleon. We're forced to use a shield here anyway, but I guess with the Empoleon, they're forced to go for the dig in order to do some significant damage against us, and so this is going to take a little bit more energy for them, and we can now go for some Drill Peck action against the opponent's Mantine. As we know that Empoleon is basically our main Pokemon to deal with them. In the end, we can just swap out here into our Dragonite. We can go for a Dragonclaw, try to get them a little bit low, try to get one of the remaining shields from the opponent. There's still one left here, but as you can see, we kind of put them into range. We can just Steel Wing them down with the Empoleon, and that's kind of where I want to have them anyway. And we actually even still survive one Aerial Ace here, but we can now go for the full Farmland. They still reach another move, hopefully not the Water Pulse, because it would do a little bit more damage. It's just the Aerial Ace, and now we can go for the full Farmland against the Gligar, and we can move on to the final one for today. So we're going to have a Carbink in the lead. Worst possible lead, can we still come back from this? Let's find out. In comes a Sableye against us. This is going to be a matchup where it is a little bit awkward because we're going to need a little bit more energy in order to get to our Trailblaze compared to the opponent. We have the same fast move, but Foul Play is needing 5 less energy compared to Trailblaze. Here I can still reach another close combat though, and if I can align myself, this would be lovely because you have the hardest answer to Carbink in the back. As you're gonna see, they're going to let the close combat go through on their Ghost type, but it's still gonna put them into Farmland range, and so we're gonna have a boosted Berserker. They are gonna go back into the Carbink. I might be even able to get a shield here from the opponent, which would be amazing. But let's see here, the Trailblaze boosted coming through and not going to get shielded, but does around 50% of the opponent's health, as I can swap out into the Empoleon. They're swapping into the Superior, and I should be able to survive at least like 2 charge moves most likely. But it's going to be close. Aerial Ace coming through, and as you can see here, maybe with the Vine Whip damage, another one might be enough to knock us out. But as you're going to see as well, we can go for another Dragonclaw, which is going to be able to get them quite low here as well with the Dragon Breath damage. We're going to get the Final Shield, and they're going to go for the Aerial Ace. Can we still reach another move? We die on the Dragonclaw, and so we are kind of forced to go for the full farm down. And as the opponent has some energy loaded still as well on their Carbink, we have to be careful if they want to swap out into this here, but they don't, and so we can go for the Hydro Cannon. It's enough to knock out the opponent's Carbink. And this is going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.